y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. We are going to try my left-hand turn, which is kind of sort of similar to Chuck Cook's left turn. Not really, but anyway, close enough. But anyway, I wanted to try this today because I haven't tried this in a couple of versions. So I'm on 10.69.3.1, and I haven't tried this in a few versions. So anyway, we're going to give this a try. I've just given it a destination where it has to make a left. We're engaging autopilot here. It's relatively busy. There's a football game going on in Athens right now, so it's a little, probably a little quieter than it will be in about, well, it's definitely quieter than it'll be in the 45 minutes. So I didn't want to try it then because I didn't want to wait a half an hour. But let's see how it does. Oh, creeping. Oh, stop, please. So the big thing is that you just can't see to the left. And I was going to, don't move, please. Let's see how it handles this. Anyway, I was going to try to put a drone up at the same time. Now it should go right now. It should go. All right, that was decent. Okay, that was all right. Let's see how it does in terms of accelerating. It's okay. I still think it's a little bit slower than it could be otherwise. Let's go ahead and disengage and turn around in this gas station up here, the Chevron. But anyway, I wanted to do a drone while I was doing this, but I realized, number one, I don't have somebody to operate the drone, so that's not right. And then also, I do it on my phone. So what I'm going to do is just fly a drone up into the air afterwards and just show you the intersection so you can see it better, and probably overlay that over this right now. But basically, you'll be able to see that there's a huge sweeping turn that comes from the hold on, let me get in here quick. There's a huge sweeping turn that comes from my left, and there's a bunch of things blocking it, so there's really no way to see what's going on. So it makes for a very hairy thing because people are doing, I think the speed limit here officially is 45. Yeah, it's 45. But people do not drive 45. They drive at least 55 on this section of road. As you can see, I'm sure, watching these cars go by. So they're kind of like, because it's the beginning of a highway. I mean, it's a city road, but then after this point, it turns into Atlanta Highway, which goes to Atlanta. Wow, shocking names. So anyway, it's interesting to see that it's just really difficult. And you can see it right here, these pine trees. As we come around this corner, you'll see that the Dollar General, you just can't see it until the last second. And this big tree right here, and then there's the Dollar General. So you come around this corner, and if you're doing, 55 plus miles an hour, you don't have a lot of time. Now, there is a lot of room that way to see. The other thing that's interesting is that I've always thought that what you call the suicide lane, that double yellow striped lane in the middle of the road, I thought that was actually something that you could stop in as you came out, but it's actually supposedly illegal to do that. So who knew? But anyway, so the car has to actually make the entire turn at one thing. It can't stop in the middle. I'm going to attempt to do this. I don't know about U-turns, but let's just find out. So what it should do is make a U-turn and get out of here, but I don't know that it's going to do that. It's kind of a U-turn, so let's see if it can handle this. Wow. Oh, nope. That's exactly what it did last time. So yeah. So it just can't quite handle that. It's not quite a U-turn because it's coming out of a parking lot, but it still can't handle that yet. So I've heard from some people that they're able to handle U-turns, but obviously did not succeed with that. So, okay, so attempt number 2. Let us find out how this does. So again, I could have waited until after the football game let out, but all I would be doing would be sitting here for a half an hour waiting because there would be so much traffic coming from the left, coming from Athens, driving back. Ooh, stop, please, stop. That's very far out. It's got its nose out there. So it's going, it's stopping, and this is gonna go. Ooh, all right, that was more hesitant. It's one of those things where I didn't have to intervene, but I would have been much happier if the car had, it's like once you make that decision to go, you gotta go. And there was that car in the middle lane that was making a left-hand turn, and so I probably wouldn't have gone. I would have just waited, but the car obviously decided that it was going to go. So that was an interesting move. It was definitely not something that I would have preferred to do, and it made me a little bit nervous. We got lucky because there was no cars coming from the left and for a while until the very, very end. But I was ready at any second to take over and really punch it because I was like, ooh, my. But we definitely did not have right-of-way over that black car that was making the left turn. They had the right-of-way over us, so that would have been not a great situation to have gotten stuck in. But anyway, it did it. I mean, it turned out to be fine, so no big deal. So now we're going to go around and make a third attempt at this. So at least, wow. Forget about the yellow lights, guys. They just blasted right on through. All right. So anyway, I mean, so far that's 2 for 2, although both times it was a little more hesitant than I wished that it could have been. But we'll see what happens here. So hopefully one of the, I'm planning on 5 of these, we'll see how it goes, but hopefully one of the turns will be one where there's really not a lot of traffic and we can just see it come up and do it. But it has handled, you know, these people coming around this sweeping turn here where you just can't see. It's handled it pretty decently well. So, all right. Around for time number 3. I actually really wish it could come out of the parking lot. I'm actually going to try a little bit different thing. Oh, you can hear the motorcycle back there. Wow. Let's try to put it at the edge of this parking lot and engage autopilot here. I have no idea if it can handle. This is a very, very tight turn. Okay. I mean, that was actually decent. It went across the double yellow line, but that was actually kind of what you have to do in that circumstance. You just can't make that turn sharp enough. So it actually did that pretty well. So, okay, so time number 3. Woo-hoo, I can't see squat. Got my foot over the brakes. There's a lot of traffic coming. Ooh, man, it creeps out further than I would like it to. Please don't go. All right, and nope, please don't go. Again, a lot of traffic. The right is okay. The left is very, very busy, but now it should be able to go if it goes. Nope, don't go. Okay, a truck popped out right as I was thinking it was time to go. Okay, it should go now. It should go now. Go now, go now. Woo. All right, I had to punch it. So I had to take over. That was definitely, I mean, it made the right move, but the problem is by the time it made that move, there was traffic coming and it was just easing out into the road. And there's no way. I was not going to be a sitting duck out there. I mean, maybe it would have gotten out of the way before that traffic had gotten there, but it really needed to punch it. Like and this has been the consistent problem. I think Chuck has mentioned this as well, but there's been a kind of consistent problem with the car just not giving it a kick in the pants when it needs to. It needs to. When it decides to go, it has got to go. And that's an issue. You know, you can't be mamby-pamby when it comes to driving. Number 1, because you have to show other people your intention, but number 2, because you have to get out of there. Being in an intersection is really dangerous. Being on a road like this, no problem, right? You just drive, you're going straight, whatever it is. But being in an intersection is incredibly dangerous in any circumstance, and so you just need to get out of there, and they need to build that into the loss function and make sure that the loss function includes how much time you spend in the intersection for any intersection, left-hand turns, multi-car intersections, things like that. It just needs to be able to handle that better by getting out of there, and if you build that into the loss function, you'll end up getting better performance. Of course, you know, the problem is that they also have to deal with safety issues as well. All right, here we go. Time number 4, if I'm remembering correctly. So let's go for it. All right. Whew. This stuff makes me nervous. It's like, it really is scary because it pokes its nose way out here so it can see. And so it's taking its time. All right. All right. And there's a car that's getting into the suicide lane, and there's a ton of traffic here, so we need to not be doing anything. Got my foot sitting right over the brake just in case it decides to get a little funky. Traffic coming, traffic coming, traffic coming. So it seems to be gauging this mostly on the right-hand side. Now there is a car that's turning left up here, so, and more traffic coming. So this is just a situation where it just needs to be patient. We need to wait. Don't even, so it's not moving, which is making me confident. Like the fact that it's not jiggling the steering wheel or doing weird stuff and like pretending like it needs to go. And hopefully, I don't know if you can quite see out of there, but don't do that. It needs to just sit and wait. There's a lot of traffic in this suicide lane. Oh my. Okay, now we're stuck in the road. Okay. All right, I'm bailing. just can't wait. That was, it just made this mistake where it got out into the road and it stuck its nose out, and at that point we were too far. So I was like, So again, because nobody was coming the other way, it might have been able to complete that because the other guys made their turns, but that was no good. I certainly was not willing to let it do its thing there. That was far too dangerous. So, try again. So we're 2 and 2. It succeeded twice, although not, I wouldn't call it with flying colors, but it did fine twice, and it has failed twice. Both times, I think that when I say failed, I was not comfortable with what was going on. I think it would have been okay, but it was just because the circumstances worked that way. If a car had been coming from the left a little bit earlier, and you just can't see. You only get a couple of seconds before the car is on top of you. So it's just really, really, like, you just have to, you have to go. Like I said, they need to think about building into the loss function the period of time that it's in any intersection. And that hopefully will cause the behavior to get better. I would hope that would do it. And obviously there's a lot of other things it has to take account of too, like safety and all of those kinds of things, but it definitely needs to consider what's going on in terms of just literally the length of time that it's in the intersection. From the time it starts to accelerate to the time that it's on the road and going straight, that needs to be accounted for, and it needs to be minimized always. I'm perfectly happy to have higher levels of jerk in order to get out of the intersection. That is fine. All right, again, don't know if you can see, but there's a gray Honda there. There's nobody coming from the left right now, except for that gray Honda. And this will be interesting to see okay, now somebody's coming from the left. So it is being very much more patient. So it's not kind of jerking like it's trying to go forward. So let's see what it does now. Interesting. Okay, again, slow. Wow, it's just easing. Okay, so, all right. That was the best. Again, it's one of those situations where I know it's technically illegal to stop in the suicide lane, but it is one of those things where, at least, like I said, I've been driving for a lot of years and didn't even know that wasn't legal. So it's one of those situations where the car, if it needed to, I would have preferred that the car would actually go in the suicide lane as opposed to attempt to do the whole maneuver. But anyway, it did it fine. And it accelerated much, much more aggressively that time once it got going. It's sort of like it starts up easy and it gets halfway through the maneuver and then it decides to go fast. So we got it. Okay, so we've got 3-2. It made the maneuver. I'm going to do one more just for the heck of it, since I'm here anyway, and then I'm going to go put up the drone and show you this intersection. But again, I'll probably overlay the drone, so you unfortunately won't get the traffic. You won't see my car doing it, but at least you'll be able to understand. I mean, you can probably see pretty well here. This is the dangerous thing right here. This sweeping turn with this pine tree makes it really, really hard to see past that. And I'm going to try to count this time. If I see some traffic coming, I'm going to kind of do the 1-1000, 2-1000. These people, if they're watching, have got to be like, what is this guy doing? Just around and around and around in circles. It's got to be the craziest thing. All right, here we go. One more time. One more time. Actually, if the car doesn't make it this time, I'll probably end up doing one more just to tie break it. But if it gets this turn, I'm going to let it go. All right, some foot. Okay, wow, there's a lot of people turning left here today. So that does add a lot of complexity to it. Okay, so it's creeping. You can see the stop line. Okay, stop, please stop. Okay, nobody on the left. Amazing. Oh, somebody on the left. So 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5. So 4 to 5 seconds between when you can first see the car. Now these guys aren't driving particularly fast, like the faster ones are, yeah. Okay, the ones on the inside lane are going substantially faster and there's a lot less time. Okay, I don't know why it's not going. And please go. All right. Okay, that was, like, there was no traffic either direction, so that was relatively easy. But It didn't, that was interesting because that time it didn't accelerate as fast, and the last time when it accelerated fast, there was a person behind me, like as I turned into the lane. Now he was in the right-hand lane, but I thought that that was a good move because what it did was it tried to equalize our speed so that we were both traveling approximately the same speed as it got into this lane, even though that car, like I said, was in the right-hand lane and not the left-hand lane. That was actually a really good move. So this time I noticed because there was nobody around when it actually started to move, it was actually better. Hi, Tesla. It was actually better, more gentle. How was that? Sorry, not better, but just it accelerated more gently that time. And so I think that it was actually reacting last time to the fact that there was a car in the lane and it knew that it had to get up to speed just to be safe, right? Again, the car was in the right-hand lane, so it didn't really need to worry about it, but if the guy decided to switch lanes right at the last second, that could have been bad. So anyway, very interesting. So like I said, I'm going to go back here and going to pop up the drone and I'll wave at you because I'll be in the shot, I'm sure. But I'm curious to know what you all think. I thought it did reasonably well, except that it really needs, like, again, once it starts the maneuver, it needs to go for it. This is not the kind of thing where you can just kind of like ease into it. So you know, it's just amazing. I can't believe that the Tesla AI team can do this at all. But if I had a suggestion for you all, I would say that what you should do is start looking at building into the loss function. You should start building in just the number of seconds, literally the number of seconds from when it begins its maneuver to when it's done and out of the intersection. So, all right, let me know what you think. And, you know, Chuck Cook hopefully will watch this and he'll let me know what he thinks about this as well. I feel like this did better than the last one. I'm going to have to go back and review the footage of the last one. It definitely was more patient. So it sat, like when it was sitting there and waiting, it wasn't going like that and jerking back and forth, and, you know, it wasn't doing that kind of stuff. It was sitting and it was patient. It was just, each time that it kind of failed, it just failed because it was too wimpy about getting into the intersection and getting out of the intersection. So I think that's what it is. Anyway, everybody have a great day and let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.